you do have the privilege, I believe the instructor has given it to you, to share content. You can do it either at the entry level, by just putting your cursor on top of any entry and selecting the share command, right? Or at the page level, if I just scroll up to the top to page tools, you can see on the far right I have the same option of share. Both of these will take me to the same place as if I go here on the right, or pardon me, on the left-hand side of the page, and I right-click on the page, I can choose share to share that. That would be exactly the same as clicking on page tools up here, or of course a folder. If I'm working, on the whole contents I want to share with my colleagues, click on share, and what's going to happen? All of them will take you to a menu like this. The difference, of course, will be what's in quotes. Here it's telling me that you're allowed to share the folder called Experiment 1 Techniques and Measurements Lab. Okay? Here, the first time around only, you will enter the email of your colleague, of your classmate. Once you've entered their email, LabArchives will remember it, and it'll be in the second tab called Groups for People with Access. So it's just the first time around that you enter their email address, and then the default, as you can see, is view only, but you might want to give them edit privileges, and you don't have to be worried that they'll make a change in your notebook without.
You do want edit privileges.
You can be aware of that.
Click edit
through the activity feed and the dashboard, which we haven't looked at yet. And of course through the revisions, if anything is done wrong, we said that you can always revert back to an earlier version. Okay, so here if I want to share something with a classmate, enter their email, subject of the message is optional if you wish, and then click on send. LabArchive sends them a message saying that, in my case it would be Richard Romero to share their notebook with you. Please click on the link below to have access to the corresponding folder. Right? And then they'll be able to have access to that entry, page, or folder that you give them access to, and whether it's just view only or to edit. Okay? Pretty simple, right? As I mentioned, if, let's say, 2 weeks later or a month later, you want to share something else with that same classmate, you could skip that tab and go to the second one and find their name here. Given that I've shared with Michelle before, she's already in my list of people with access. But I've never shared this folder with her, so as you can see, right now she's set to no access. I shared something else with her, but she is in the database or in my account. And so here, all I would have to do is change it to the appropriate privilege that I would give her. And then click on close, and again, the same thing will happen. An email message will be sent, and she, next time that she logs on, Michelle, she'll have access to both this folder and anything else that I shared with her previously. And the way that it's accessible is through the Notebook Navigator dropdown. Right? So let me close out of this and just mention to you that when somebody shares something with you, you will have to be aware that in this dropdown you have to select the appropriate notebook, as I did at the beginning of the presentation. With the black check mark, for easy identification of the ones that are owned by me, right? The ones that you own will have a black check mark, and then even though it has the same name, General Chemistry Lab 1, General Chemistry Lab 1 here, I'm the owner of them, that you'll see, the check mark will identify which one you're the owner of, which you're not. Okay? I hope that was clear. So, just remember to look for the first for the appropriate notebook through the Notebook Navigator drop-down menu. Okay? After you share. And then, of course, revert back to your notebook so you're not making changes to your colleague's notebook when you're supposed to be making it to yours. Now, important point here, as I understood at the beginning,